Hey, it's Sandra. Welcome to another episode of Asexualise, my asexual life. This is a place to be for education about asexuality. So subscribe and hit the bell icon right now. So in today's episode, we're going to be discussing where to go for motivation when you're feeling stuck in your asexual life. This was a question that was posed to me on Facebook by an asexual person I know called Philip. So, hello to Philip. And I said, what particular aspect of your life are you talking about? And he said, all of it. So, this was in response to me posting that I'm still working on my asexuality book. So I am still working on that every day. Usually I'm doing work for it because I want to get the book finished. It's an excellent book. A lot of it's just flowing to me. I do write some stuff and then I'm like, oh my God, I've got to include this in the book and I've got to include that in the book. And I never thought about this originally when I set out to do it. Like I've completely gone off my book outline, but that's because I know what I'm talking about with asexuality and I know what people need to know, if you know what I mean. So writing a book outline was great initially, but that's what I did for my publishing.com 7-day challenge. But now I'm actually writing the book, I'm finding that I've got a lot more things I need to put in it that I didn't originally think about putting in it that's really useful and helpful. So Philip basically saw the fact that I'm spending more time writing my asexual book, which is called Asexuality. And it's a guide to understanding asexuality and attraction, the asexual spectrum is an asexual guide to that. So I'm looking forward to getting that out. I know there's people that want to buy it. I wanted it to be out already. I said to someone it's going to be published on the 16th of September, but unfortunately I still haven't finished it yet. So that was my actual date for publishing. It's now the 17th. But all good things come to those who wait. So this is great. And I've got to move now. So this has been a lot of extra stuff that's going on in my life. So how to get motivated, where to get motivation from when you're feeling stuck. I'm going to be answering this question. So it's a very important what I said to Philip, and that was, what area of your life are you stuck in? And it was all of it. So what do you need to be motivated in? All of it. So all of it is a very vague statement. So if you are struggling to get motivated in life, I would literally write down all the different aspects of your life that you'll find it hard to get motivated in. Because if you don't know which areas of your life you're lacking in motivation, you can't address each area of your life. You're like running blind. It's like someone putting a blindfold on you and you're running through the forest, not knowing where you're going, right? With anything in life, in order to get your desired outcome, you need to know what the destination is. But you can't know what the destination is if you don't know what your starting point is. So this is what you need to do first of all, is work out all the multiple aspects of your life, the areas of your life that you are struggling to find motivation in. So is it finances? Are you struggling to save money because you feel unmotivated in saving money? Are you struggling to save for a holiday? Are you struggling to save any money whatsoever? Or are you struggling to spend any money because you can't find anything that you want to spend your money on? Are you struggling to get motivated to go on dating sites to find a suitable relationship for you? Are you struggling to get motivated to go out and find friends and make friends? Are you struggling spiritually in the fact that you can't get motivated to understand yourself spiritually? Are you struggling with your sexuality, your asexuality? And in understanding that, are you finding it hard to get motivated to even look at one more post or video about asexuality? And are you struggling to understand yourself and lacking motivation? Because lacking in motivation often comes from these type of things, struggles we have. We feel what we're doing is a struggle, therefore we resist it, and therefore we have a lack of motivation for it. We procrastinate because we're resisting it, because we really don't want to do the thing, or we don't want to face the thing, right? So what we have to do is turn our mind around to wanting to do that thing and seeing that it's a good thing. The only way you're going to get motivated to do something is if you have a big enough why for wanting to do it. You have to have something that's a good reason for you to do something in order for you to be motivated. Otherwise, you will feel stuck in life if you're not actually having a bigger why than yourself, if you're not having a bigger purpose than yourself. If you're not being purposeful in life, you'll find it hard to get motivated. So if you don't know your life purpose, then you have to make your life all about finding your life purpose and the adventures you go on in the way that you're striving to find that life purpose. So first of all, write down on a piece of paper different aspects of your life: housing, finances, career, spirituality, relationships, friendships, family, all these things, right? Write all these things down on a piece of paper. And each of these areas, you then want to list under these areas what things you are struggling to feel motivated in all these different areas. Just saying a blanket statement like everything is not helpful, but analyzing the multiple areas of your life and what's lacking in those areas, what you need to do to improve those areas and feel alive within those areas, should then come to the forefront. So then you can start creating a plan of actions that drives you towards the goals you want to achieve in those areas. If you haven't got motivation, a lot of the time it's because you haven't got goals in those areas. You're just going by in life. You're not striving to push yourself out your comfort zone. You're not striving to better yourself. You're not striving to change yourself in your life. When we don't change ourselves or our life and we just let life pass us by, we lack motivation because there's no friction there in order to keep our interest going and our spark going. If you're feeling stuck in life and demotivated, the way to get unstuck is by doing something different to what you usually do. Change up your routine, change the way you go to work, change what type of clothes you wear, change the way you go to shops, go to a different restaurant, go to a different pub, go to a different club. If you're not used to going to pubs, push yourself out your comfort zone and go to a pub. If you're not used to going to a circus, push yourself to go to a circus. If you're not used to going to the theatre, push yourself to go to the theatre. Go and do things you wouldn't usually do in your life to get the inspiration and clarity on what you might want to do in your life. If you keep doing the same thing over and over again, your life gets boring, it stagnates, and you die inside your soul. And therefore you feel, what's the point? And you don't feel motivated to do anything. And you just feel a bit listless and lifeless. So you've got to have a goal for each area of your life and to know what you're striving for in that area of your life. And if you're lacking motivation overall in your life, it's because you don't have a passion or a purpose, or you're not fulfilling that passion or purpose. Pretty much everyone has a passion or purpose. They just haven't uncovered it if they're not pursuing it. So my passion is writing. I am self-motivated with writing because I love writing. Writing is very therapeutic. My motivation at the moment is to keep my stress levels down. It's absolutely imperative that I keep my stress levels to an absolute minimum because it's having a big physical effect on my body, right? So when your why is big enough, when the reason for doing something is big enough, you will do it. So the way you become unstuck in life and get motivated in life is by having a big enough reason to do something different in your life, make a difference in your life, and change something. So I can procrastinate when I'm writing. And so I did the publishing.com 7-day challenge in order to encourage myself to be able to write a book from scratch quicker. I'm still writing that book because it's a good book. But not only is writing my life purpose, my soul purpose, I die inside my soul if I do not write. I become very physically sick and ill and poorly and stressed. So in order to reduce my stress levels, I need to write. And I need to get this asexuality book out because people are waiting to buy it. And that is my motivation for doing it. So take something you're passionate about, a hobby or an interest, and then go and make something more of it. If you do pottery, go and put it in a pottery competition. If you do artwork, go and apply to have it in a gallery, or go and do local competitions. Go and join an art club. Sometimes we get motivation from being around other people. So some people need like a buddy, like a career buddy, a motivational buddy. So if you'll find it hard to do something on your own, team up with someone else who also needs to do that thing. And then you can be accountable. It's called an accountability buddy, where you both check in with each other and say what you've done. This is why it's good if you're doing an online course to become friends, even if it's just online friends, with someone who's doing the same course as you. So then you can chat about different components of the course and see how each of you is getting on. This is not to whip each other's asses and in a bad way. This is to do that in a good way, in a way that motivates you both. Some people who go to the gym, for example, they hate going to the gym. It's a monotonous chore for them. So they'll get someone else to go to the gym with them because they get the motivation when they've got someone else to go with, to talk to, and to maybe even compete a bit with, right? So get someone else to help you on your journey. Try and find ways of doing more things in your life that bring you joy, pleasure, and happiness. When you get joy, pleasure, and happiness out of something, you automatically want to do it because you want to feel good. Do things that release feel good chemicals, because then that's a good addiction to have, is things that make you feel good, providing it's a healthy thing that makes you feel good, not like you're stuffing your face with chocolate cake every 5 minutes of the day. Right? So we need to be having healthy habits, that we kind of obsessed with healthy stuff so that we can actually live our best lives. So get an let's backtrack a minute and go through these things again. So go through all the areas of your life I've just discussed. Write all those areas down. Put what you're lacking in each of those areas. Like, what do you lack in motivation? Like, maybe you're not even in a relationship. Maybe you really want a relationship, right? But how badly do you want a relationship? And if you had a relationship, would you be able to sustain it and be persistent and consistent? Or do you just want it for a time because it's a novelty to you? See, a lot of people get into relationships and they get the person in the relationship, like, I really want this relationship, right? And they're really excited, all the chemistry's going, and then they lack the motivation to actually continue healthy communication with that person, because maybe the feel good chemicals have worn off a bit, maybe the initial excitement's worn off, maybe the fantasy of what you thought that person was like rather than the reality of what they're like's worn off. Or maybe real life got in the way, you're tired, you're overworked, underpaid, all the rest of it. And so you lack motivation to actually spend time with your loved one because you're busy feeling sorry for yourself and grumpy that you're having a hard time. That's not helpful, right? So by continuously working on our own personal development and self-improvement, this motivates you in life, because if you want to strive to be a better person all the time, a better version of you all the time, then you're motivated to do things to be productive, to improve your life and yourself. So motivation can come from external sources, such as watching motivational speeches on YouTube, watching motivational videos on YouTube. That's all free. Watching stories of people who triumph over adversity and who come out on top. My favorite type of storyline in any movie usually is when the main character triumphs over adversity. Like, against all odds, they achieve their dream. Against all odds, they beat the odds. Against all odds, they put the world to rights. Against all odds, they succeeded. The underdog comes through and shines their light after being in darkness for years. Right? I kind of see myself a bit like that sometimes. Like, I keep pushing through. I'm like, keep pushing through, Sandra. Keep doing your channel. Keep showing up on your channel. I know there's channels that's got thousands more subscribers than I have, but I'm like grateful for each and every subscriber I have here. I know my community is very loyal to me. Thank you so much. And also, I can't just make videos for the sake of making videos a specific way, because that's formulaic. I can't be like that. It's not who I am. You know what I mean? I won't enjoy it as much. And so therefore I would lack motivation to do it then. Therefore I wouldn't do as many videos and put as much content out. Therefore it would let my audience down. They wouldn't learn as much. So it's imperative that I do things that make me happy in a way that makes me happy to do them, and that also serves other people and helps other people. It's no good trying to do something another person's way that you don't agree with, that you don't really want to do that way, because then you will lack motivation. Like, what is the motivation for me doing something in someone else's way when it's not shining my light, it's not shining my personality, it's not helping me to grow as a person into myself, it's just helping me to try and be a copycat of someone else? Right? It's better to stand in your personal power and be really strong and confident in who you are and lead your life authentically. Another reason for people not being motivated in their life is they're not leading an authentic life. They're worried about what everyone else thinks of them. They're worried about what everyone might say about them and their life. They're worried about changing direction. They just worry constantly about outside influences that don't really matter at the end of the day. You might think they matter, but they don't. A lot of the time that people who give you advice aren't even qualified to give you advice, right? They're telling you stuff they know nothing about. I had someone on this channel recently trying to tell me what my asexuality actually is and invalidate me, and I'm not having it. You know, that person's now blocked, and if they try and make other accounts, I'll just block them again. You know, dictating to me what my actual asexuality is and telling me I'm in denial over my sexuality is just disgusting. You know, I will listen to people if they're giving constructive feedback, but I will not tolerate someone who's purposely telling me, "Do you get it?" Like, they're so angry that I'm asexual and they're trying to dispute my asexuality and they're trying to dispute stuff I'm saying just so I will conform to what they want me to be and give in to them. It's not going to happen. Those type of people are not nice people. I do not appreciate that. If they got opinions, that's fine. If they disagree with me, that's, you know, that's fine. But actually, the way they went about it is not on, and I won't tolerate that. So I think it's important when you're motivating yourself to have boundaries in place with other people and know your own wants, know your own needs, know your own desires, know your own limits and tolerances. Right? You shouldn't be having to put up with someone who's trying to dismiss who you are and invalidate who you are, and who won't listen to what you're saying and just keep trying to railroad you into their own point of view and boss you around, right? And back you into a corner. This is not good, right? This might be on the internet or it might be in real life, in person, right? So you don't have to put up with that, right? They don't have to be saying that to you. And if they're getting that het up about your own sexuality, what does that say about them? So if you're lacking motivation, there might be people in your life that's actually draining your energy, that's actually being negative about who you are, and that is literally causing you internal discomfort, which is unnecessary. So the necessary discomfort we have in life is when we're pushing for our own fears and boundaries to get where we want in life, to go and take ourselves to the next level, which will help motivate us. But if you're dealing with negativity from someone else, or you feel uneasy around someone, you feel like you can't be yourself around them, you feel like whatever you say, they just like trying to railroad you in bullying you basically into what they want you to be, then this is not energy you need to be continuing with in your life. This is very stressful, not good for your health. So you need to just limit your time with that personal people, or leave their life completely, right? Block them, do whatever you want. So, you know, they're not worth your time, energy, and effort. And the amount of time, energy, and effort you're putting into that drains you of your energy that you need to motivate yourself to do things. Because we don't have an infinite amount of energy, we only have a certain amount of energy. So if we're expelling energy on the wrong things and things that don't serve us, that don't help us in our life, that aren't good for us, we're actually decreasing our energy for motivating ourselves to do things and getting on with things in our life. So I would urge you to look at your environment, the people around you, your surroundings, where you live, and, you know, people in your inbox, and decide, like, if the people you're actually hanging around with, speaking to, and that are coming to discuss things with you, work out if they're good for you or bad for you, or if you're if you're liking the conversation with them, or if they just drain your energy and draining your resources so you can't do things in life. Also, one way of motivating yourself is literally to have a break. Go and do things that you enjoy, that relax you, that light you up, that make you feel great. Because one of the reasons why people are not productive is because they drain their energy and they lower their energy, and they try and keep working and working, but they just not got the motivation because they can't keep going with the energy levels. In order to reboost your energy levels, sometimes you need to go and do something completely different, whether this is going for a walk, doing a meditation, some yoga, going to an exercise class, just taking some time out to go to a social event, just going up the road for a sit in the park. Whatever this is for you, for me, it's personally watching a movie to chill out to, then you need to go and do it. Like, I did writing today, but then my head just got so muddled, and I felt really stressed because I'm trying to look for property as well as dealing with an injured back, as well as doing writing. And just spending hours looking for property is very energy draining. So therefore, my head is cluttered with that. So I had to give myself time out, saying that's enough. You've done enough property searching today. You've been out and spoke to some letting agencies. You've done all you can. It's time to stop that now. Have a break. Watch a movie, unwind, then do some more writing after that once you've eaten something as well and built your energy levels back up again. So nutrition is very important. You can't feel motivated to do stuff if you're not having enough nutrition and keeping your sugar levels to a good level. If your sugar is too low, you'll feel energy drained and not have the motivation to do something. If your sugar's too high, you might be too hyper and fidgety and not be able to concentrate on anything. So watch what you eat. Make sure you're consuming proper nutrition. This is vegetables and fruits and proteins and carbohydrates. So making sure you have a good range of nutritional foods that give you good lot of vitamins and minerals as much as possible. Take supplements if you need to. Consult a medical practitioner for that. Right? So, or healthcare practitioner, a specialist, right? So we can be looking at all these aspects of things. If you find it hard to get motivated to save money, then think of something you really, really want that excites you, and then put money aside from your main account into another account. Just do it by standing order, or even, I think it's standing. You can do standing order or direct debit. I think it's standing order. Direct debits to someone else, but standing orders if you want to transfer money to your account to another one of your accounts. So I have money going in my main account, and then sometimes I have money transferring to other accounts for like food, for example. Or if I wanted to save for something, then I'd have a bit of money going each month to save, to go from my main account to another account automatically, comes in and out, so I don't have to think about it, right? So I don't have to think, oh my god, how much do I need to save this month? I can just save the same amount every month and do it automatically, so I don't need to think about it, right? So being motivated comes from having intrinsic desire and need and want to do a certain thing or specific thing over and over again. But a lot of this stems from finding out what your life purpose or purposes are, what really makes you feel passionate and lights you up and lights your life on fire. What do you feel really good doing? So if you feel really good going out, then go out because you'll want to get up in the morning to go out. If you've got, if you want to go out more, if you can't get motivated to get out of bed, then go and think of things you want to do in your day that bring you joy and happiness, that you will get out of bed for. I self-date at the cinema because I love going to the cinema. And I self-date every week because I owe it to myself to do that, because I promised myself I'm going to self-date. And I'm going to go out every week and date because it's good for me. I don't always feel 100% like it. Sometimes I feel really tired or energy drained, or I'm like, I've got so much on at the moment, or really stressed. Or maybe I don't feel quite well, and I'm like, but you're going to do it. Why? Because you love yourself and you trust yourself and you keep promises to yourself. It's very important that we keep promises to ourselves so that we don't let ourselves down, so that we feel reliant on ourselves, and therefore we've got more motivation to do something if the person we're doing with, aka ourselves, is reliable. If we break promises to ourselves, we'll be like, well, what's the point in doing anything for ourselves anyway? Because we just let ourselves down all the time. That's not a motivational thing. You get motivation when you actually put time, energy, and effort into something, see something through to the end, and have something to show for it. Whether that's a meal that you've cooked, or a friend that you've seen, or a day trip you've gone on, or a piece of work you've done, or an artwork, or a painting. I've been working on Asexual Guide to Sex for over 5 years now, right? I haven't done any work yet actually this year on it. I stopped last year after I moved to do the Diary Confessions book, because I thought that was essential to do that first. And now I've got to finish Asexuality book, then do Asexual Guide to Sex straight after that to finish it off. Finally, this year, like, that's been a book that other people couldn't do because they don't have the patience. So we have to stop looking for quick gratification in things and realize that we can get gratification through doing something over a long period of time. Because if we have the capacity and patience to be able to do something over a long period of time, then it makes us feel good. Like, wow, I spent like over 5 years doing that, but I still achieved it. I still did what I set out to do. And that means I can trust myself because I know I'm reliable. I know that I don't let myself down over a period of years, not just days or weeks. I know I'm reliable. I know I'm hardworking. I know I'm patient. So if you want to be more motivated, give yourself the qualities that you're looking for in your ideal person in this world, which should be yourself. Your ideal person should be yourself. Make yourself have the qualities that you look up to, that you respect, that you value, that you want to have around you. Make yourself be that person to yourself, your cheerleader to yourself, your best friend to yourself, your lover to yourself, your joy to yourself, your happiness to yourself. Because when you rely on yourself more for your own sense of self and happiness and pleasure and joy, you'll be more motivated to do things because you've got that foundation of feel good coming from within. The more things you do for yourself, the more you praise yourself and not be an inner critic to yourself all the time, the better you'll feel when you do something. So every time you do something, you should be saying you did a good job. Like, I've done some more work on my Asexuality book yesterday now, because we've gone over midnight. And I'm proud of that. I'm proud of the fact I'm keeping going. I'm thinking about, like that digger, which keeps digging in the ground, digging in the soil. I'm like, keep going, Sandra. Come on, keep digging that soil. Keep writing that page. Even if I just write a few sentences. So in order to get motivated on something like writing a book, all I need to do is get myself to write a few words that day. And then it automatically gets you to write more. So if you're feeling really stuck in doing something, you're procrastinating, just think, all I need to do is one or two little things, or one thing of this. And then it'll make you want to do more of that thing automatically a lot of the time. But even if it doesn't, you can just say, do you know what? I made a start today, and praise yourself for that. Right? If you find it hard to get out of the bed and have a shower, praise yourself if you have a shower and spend time in there, feeling the water on your skin, feeling it drench your body, feeling it on your face. Just don't go in there and out there quickly if that doesn't feel good. Or if you feel really good by going in and out there quickly because it's something that you like doing and you like to be in and out at the quickest time and it makes you feel great, then do it, because that will motivate you then to get on with the rest of your day. Oh, I've had a quick shower. Now I can get on with the rest of my day because I've had this great, amazing shower. It's really quick and, made me feel great in a few minutes, right? But if you're the type of person that feels good by taking a long shower and feeling the water on your skin and body and it drenching you and making you feel so good, then you need to spend more time in the shower to give you motivation to want to live, to want to be in that moment, to want to do things in your life because they feel so damn good. When you're doing things that make you feel so damn good, then you want to do them over and over again. You get motivated. So give yourself rewards as well. In order to motivate yourself, give yourself a reward when you've done something. So if you're doing a piece of coursework, for example, if you're a student and doing a piece of coursework, Once you've done that coursework, then give yourself a reward, like eating out, like cooking your favorite foods, like phoning a friend, like going to the cinema, like going on a day trip, whatever it is. But if that's too much for you, if that's not motivating you enough, then just when you've done a page of a coursework, like I'm having a break now, I've done a page, I'm watching a bit of a movie, or I'm watching one of my favorite series. Do another page of coursework. I'm doing this now, and just do work, reward, work, reward, work, reward. So it's hard, high, hard, high, hard, high. You're getting those highs then, do you know what I mean? And don't do things you don't want to do unless you have to do them. Cut out or cut down on things that are not that urgent or important at the moment, and stick to the things that are urgent and important. My book's urgent and important at the moment. I have got other things I need to do, but I need to focus on one thing at a time, because otherwise if I go off on tangents all the time, which I can do, I don't actually get the main thing done that I need to do. And therefore that feels demotivating, because I'm like, well, you've just gone off on like 10 tangents and now you haven't done the thing you needed to do and wanted to do, and now you're lagging behind with it, and then that makes me feel bad about myself. Oh, I'm getting behind with my work, I'm lagging behind. Then I'd be critical of myself. You're lagging behind, Sandra, what do you think you're doing? This is no good. And then I feel like I'm whipping my own ass, but not in a good way. So instead tonight I'm like, I really want to do some more writing, but I'm feeling drained and I need to calm down, because my health is the most important thing at the moment. If I don't have health, I won't be able to write. I won't be able to search for a new place or do anything. I won't even be able to do this live stream because I'm too poorly to do it. So I'm just like, what's going to make you calm? Writing and watching a movie. If you can't write because your head's all muddled from what you were doing, which is looking for property, then you need to cut off from that. You need to have a distinct divider. It's a bit like having a folder with dividers. And so there has to be a cut-off point where you've done that section of the folder and now you're having a divider. It's dividing off and it's stopping at that point. And then the divider is within itself a thing that you're focusing on shortly, and then you're doing something else. So this is really important. So at the moment, I'm having to separate aspects of my life in order to still stay motivated in the present and not deflated and overstressed. So I'm having cut-off time. So I think this is really important, to give yourself some cut-off time of like, I'm doing this for X amount of hours. Then when I've done the most hours, or when it's naturally come to a finish, what I need to do in that moment, I'm stopping. Then I'm having a break and I'm doing something else that brings me joy and happiness, relaxation, chilling out, whatever it is, to allow my energy levels to be more calm and allow me to flow better in the thing I need to do in the moment. Right, so what have we discussed in this video? We've discussed addressing all the aspects, multiple aspects of your life, such as career, relationships, love, friendships, because relationships can be with family, with friends, with loved ones, with a partner, finances, spirituality, religion, if you're religious or not, money, budgeting, finances, all that type of thing comes under money, right? All these different aspects of your life, you need to find out what the lack of motivation actually is in that aspect of that area of your life. And then you need to work on goals on achieving that thing, those things that are lacking, right? And the way you be really motivated in yourself is by finding something that brings you absolute pleasure and joy and passion on multiple things. Because when you're doing that, of course you've got motivation to do it, because you're getting all these feel-good chemicals like oxytocin and adrenaline. So you're like, oh my gosh, the more I do it, the more I want it. The more I do it, the more I want it. It's a bit like me with kissing. The more I do it, the more I want it. And unfortunately, I haven't been able to kiss any guys for a long time, for months. So I've only got myself to kiss, which isn't a bad thing, but you can only do so much kissing with yourself, right? So yeah, I could do with some kissing right now, but I have to leave that for the future. So we have to look at other things. So if we can't get the thing that actually makes us the most joyous and pleasure in that moment, then we have to think of the next best thing, right? Or other things that do bring us equal joy and pleasure, just they're different. So find out what your purpose is in life, or what brings you joy and happiness, what you're passionate about, and do more and more of that stuff, because then you'll feel more motivated to be in life. Like I said earlier, get an accountability buddy, someone you can do things with and be accountable to. It doesn't have to be like a teacher-student relationship. It can just be like a friendship where you're just like saying, hey, I completed this project, like my writing project today, or I completed my artwork project, or I finished reading that book, and the other person can be like, oh, that's so cool. Like, I've gone and played tennis today. I've like messaged my friend back today. I've seen all my emails and answered like 5 of them. I'm feeling really good. And then the other person's like, oh, that's so cool. Like, I went to the gym this morning. It was a bit of a drudge, whatever you want to call it. But I did it. And I'm like, oh God, that's so good. See what I mean? If you've got a friend like that, a support system where you're just literally saying what you've done during your day, it just feels so good if you get motivated by being productive. So you have to find out what does motivate you in your life. Some people are motivated by different things. I'm motivated first and foremost by a sense of responsibility, secondly by a sense of achievement, and third by money with what I do in my career, for example. So if someone's trying to wave like thousands of pounds in my face, but that's not my main motivator for doing what I do, then I'm not going to be that interested in that money, because I'm going to be like, well, if I don't feel like I'm being responsible in what I'm doing, if I don't have a sense of achievement, if I don't love what I'm doing, because I can't just sell anything, if I'm not passionate about what I'm selling, I couldn't care less about the money, because I'm not actually money orientated. I'm not motivated by money, actually. I'm motivated by changing lives. I'm motivated by being responsible for the education of other people, if you like, on this channel. This gives me great pleasure and joy to take the things I've learned in my life and to be able to pass them on to you. You know, because that gives me a great sense of achievement, which is far more motivating for me than a lot of things. I get people in my inbox on Facebook all the time. Well, maybe not all the time, that's an exaggeration, but quite a lot, going, oh, I can help you make £10,000 a month online by coaching. It's like, I like doing a bit of coaching as an add-on to what I do with everything else, but that's not my main thing. That doesn't get me out of bed in the morning, get me all riled up and motivated. Like, oh, I really want to do coaching today. That's not my thing. My thing is, I really want to get out of bed and write my Asexuality book today. I want to get it done. Come on, Sandra, let's do this. Come on, girl. And it's hard work because I'm doing a lot. I'm having to think. And then I keep coming up with more ideas for the book. And then I keep thinking this needs to be added and that needs to be added. And oh, I forgot that. I'll go include that. And it all sparks creative ideas off, right? And it makes me feel good. When I talk about writing, my face gets elated. So practice in the mirror talking about different things and see how your face lights up. Your body language and your face and physiology say everything. If you're lighting up about what you're doing, then you're having a great time. If you're doing something just to please other people, or you're doing something a certain way because you think that's what people want, but it doesn't suit you and your personality, don't do it, because you'll just get bored and lose motivation for it. There's loads of people on this channel that watch this channel, right? And I'm so grateful. Some people watch it for hours. Why do they watch it for hours? Because in some way they must feel inspired to keep watching. They must be getting some valuable information out of it. So people get motivated sometimes, a lot of the time, by inspiration. If they see someone else doing something or achieving something in their life and they want what they've got or achieving, then they want to be inspired by that person to do the thing that they're doing or to do similar, or they strive to understand what that person's saying, and that motivates them to want to know more. So if you create intrigue in your life, if you create an interesting life for yourself, then you're going to be more motivated to do it. If you're not interested in your own life, you won't be motivated. So you have to create things that are interesting. What interests you in your life? What do you find stimulating? What do you find fun? What do you find joyous? What makes you stimulated? And go and do more of that stuff. And do it over and over again. I've spoken on this channel before about happy lists. Create a happy list. At least 10 things on that list should be looked at every day. So you have a happy list, right? 10 things should be on that list. And every day you should be striving to do 3 of those 10 things at least. The more things you do on your happy list, the more you'll be motivated in life, the more happy you'll be in life, the more you'll want to get out of bed in the morning, the more you'll feel good. When you feel good about yourself and good about your life, you're more motivated to get up in the morning, to get out of bed, to do things, to feel that good. I, do sleep because I feel that sleep is important. So I'll think, Sandra, okay, carry on sleeping until your body feels rested. And then I'll be up and I'll be doing my affirmations before I completely get up for the day, start writing. And then I'm into writing. That's it. That's nearly what I've been doing most of the day, apart from when I had to go out. So I started writing a bit before I went out. Then I went out and I got some food shop, but I also went to letting agencies to talk to them about property. I registered with a couple of letting agencies, like my name and email and phone number. And then I went home and looked more for properties online and tried to get through, all the letting agencies I could find, which is quite stressful, but I'm motivated to do it because I need to have a roof over my head. I don't want to be homeless. That's a really huge reason as to why I need to put a rocket up my ass and get moving, literally get moving, and find somewhere to live. They haven't even officially given me notice yet. They've unofficially given me notice before the official 2 months notice. But they've given me what they say is a heads up that they're probably going to give me notice for my next rental date, which is the 9th of October, for 2 months. So basically, I've got to be out of here by the 8th of December. But it's better to tell me now because there's more properties usually around in September. Going towards more and more towards Christmas, it's harder because people don't tend to move before Christmas. When it's a new term, for example, when it's a new student term and it's kind of like before the winter hits, they're more like to move when there's still a bit of summer left. Do you know what I mean? So it's better that they do tell me now. But it was a shock to my system that every day now I've got to try and factor in looking at properties. But it's like I get obsessed with trying to find somewhere to live, and I'm like, hang on, it's okay to have some obsession for motivation, but then you've got to calm yourself down or your nervous system gets out of control and then you can't function properly. So I need to put time aside each day to do that, but also have time having fun. So have fun, reward yourself, talk positively to yourself, praise yourself when you do well, do activities with yourself, self-date, and keep promises to yourself. Build trust with yourself, build confidence with yourself, build self-esteem with yourself. Go out and do things that are fun and interesting, exciting. Go and do different stuff. Force yourself to do things you don't usually do. Is a way of making your life more interesting. It sparks curiosity. All of the shops in your city, the cafes, the restaurants, there's going to be tons of them you've never been in before, because most people habitually stick to the same things because we don't like change. So force yourself to go to a different cafe, force yourself to go to a different restaurant and do things differently to what you usually do. Force yourself to go on a day trip somewhere. Force yourself to get up at a different time you don't usually go to. Force yourself to do things, to push yourself to do something different will make your life more interesting. If you've been in a long-term relationship and you want to spark it up a bit, then choose somewhere to go for date night together that's a different venue to what you usually go for. Try somewhere different. If you've got a friendship but you always go out and eat and drink in the same places, go to a different place with that friend. Even if you don't want to eat in a different place, go and have a drink somewhere different with that friend. Go and do things differently, because when you do things differently, it can just make experience a bit more exciting or interesting or intriguing, because you've got out of your comfort zone and you're doing something that's not normal. So your mind's kind of thinking, hey, am I liking this experience? Am I not? And it gives you something to focus on other than your immediate self and what's happening in your life. You're kind of curious about what's happening around you, because as a generalization, we as human beings want to protect ourselves from danger, right? So when we're in a new surrounding, we'll be looking around and we'll be assessing the situation, but that can also be a curiosity thing. We can use that to create more curiosity and excitement going in a different environment and assessing things. We can be like our own private detective, sussing different places out to see if we like it in there and to give ourselves a taste of it to see if we do or not. I've been to loads of different places recently, I've been to Turtle Bay that I'd never been to before. I can't eat in there because of my special dietary requirements. I've got food intolerances, loads of allergies. And so all I could do is have a drink on that. And I liked it until I read on the menu that they serve goat. And then it's really put me off ever going in there again because I personally do not like the idea of eating a goat. But apparently it's a Mediterranean delicacy or something. I don't like that idea. So it really put me off going back in there. Right, but the staff were really nice. They were really friendly. It was nice atmosphere. It was nice lighting. It was great. I took some shorts videos for that. So that's somewhere I'd never been before. I went to Rosa's Thai restaurant. Never been there before in my life. Went in there, had a meal. They catered for my dietary requirements. Meal was expensive, but I did something different. Right? You got to do something different. I've been to 12 Bar. I went on my own for the first time about 3 or maybe just a bit over weeks ago. And now there's a local meetup that's a new meetup. I think it's new this year, but I've only just started going to it over the last couple of weeks, and they have the meetup in that bar. And they play vinyl records in that bar. It's quite old music. It's not really exactly the music I'm usually into, but I do like a range of music, but I have a lot of favourite modern music, you know? So, but I like the people. I like the atmosphere in there. It's really, really nice. I can have a herbal tea in there, so it's all good. So that's somewhere I go that's different now. I started going to Tech Exeter events this year, which I hadn't gone to for years, and that's working out really well. I love the people there. I get on really well with them, so that makes me feel good. So when you're going to be around other people, it does make you more motivated to get out and do different things. Like join groups on meetup.com, go and experience different meetup groups, different interest groups, get out of your comfort zone, do something differently. If you're not motivated in your life and you're stuck, it's probably because you're bored with your life. So how can you make your life more interesting? How can you make your life more curious? How can you bring joy and pleasure into your life? You need to be thinking about all these things, then you become unstuck. Because once you start doing one thing, it helps you to do another. I'm really focused at the moment on getting my Asexuality book. I want it finished this month. I'm like, you have to finish it this month, Sandra. You have to. I want it to be already be finished by now, but I'm like, you have to get it finished. Come on, get it finished. And I am purposely not doing other things in order to do it. So I've got people waiting to get into my asexual groups. But if I spend all my time doing that, because it does take a long time, because I have to go on people's profiles, check them out usually and stuff like that. I let some people into my group the other day, but I've still got quite a few people waiting. But I have to finish my asexuality bit, because if I don't write and switch off my phone and get in the zone, then I can't do it. And if I'm not writing every day, then I'll stop procrastinating getting back into the flow of it again. And then it's harder and harder to get back into it. So if you've got a difficult task or you procrastinate on something, even if you love it, you need to make sure you're doing a little bit each day of that thing, ideally, to keep the momentum going and to keep the motivation going. Momentum is built by doing something again and again and again and getting into flow so that it becomes more natural to you. When you get out of momentum, get out of flow, then it's harder to do that thing. You procrastinate more and it becomes an uphill battle and struggle. So it's better to go with the flow and to allow yourself to do something like a choo-choo train. Do it, go forward, do a bit more, do a bit more, do a bit more, so it's chug, 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 chug. And therefore you're literally freewheeling nearly, because you don't even have to think about something. You know, I know that I want to write books for the rest of my life. I know that writing is my passion, it's my life purpose, right? And I know I want to make a career out of writing. So I have to get better at writing more and making books quicker, writing books quicker, but still high quality books. That is a hard thing to do, to write more quickly, to write more words, and to still make the book high quality. But because I've got so much information and knowledge now, and then it's easier for me to do that, but it's still hard to focus. You know, when you're trying to help other people and you're writing like guides and how-to books, you have to really focus on the reader and what they're thinking at this point in time and what else might they need to help them in their journey. So you have to think about what you're doing at the moment, and you're constantly like thinking ahead, like, what is the reader thinking now? Oh, the reader now wants to know this, because you've just said that the reader wants to know more about this. I'm like, oh, I've got to put this in there then. And the reader wants to know what this means. They want it expanded on. I'm like, okay, I have to write that then, because I have to try and put myself in the reader's position of what they would want to know if they're not me and they don't know what they need to know, because I need to tell them, right? It's like, what would be the next thing? Like, if I talk about a certain thing to do with asexuality, but they might be like, oh, well, something's missing because what's the next step? And I don't know how to do that next step. So then have to explain that. So, you always have to be kind of thinking ahead, and in your own life, to get motivated, you have to say to yourself, what do I want to be doing with my life in the next 6 months? In the next month, like between now and Christmas, because we're in September when I'm recording this now in 2024, like, be thinking, what do I want to do between now and Christmas? What do I want to achieve this year? What are my goals? And how long am I going to give myself to achieve those goals? This year, I gave myself a goal of publishing 5 books. I've published 1 so far, and it's a bestseller, right? I've got my Asexuality book that'll be published next. I've got my Diary Confessions workbook that's close to being finished, but I still haven't finished that yet. And I got my Asexuality book that I'm working on that I've already just told you about. But I've got my Asexual Guide to Sex that I need to get out. I was going to do my Diary Confessions workbook first, but I want to actually do the Asexual Guide to Sex book straight after the Asexuality book. And I really want to get these books both done. And it's like, it's a very big need in me at the moment to get these done, especially now I've got to move, because I want these done and published so people can buy them and see them wherever they want, while I'm moving. Because when I'm moving, I'll have stuff in boxes, I might not have the internet for a while, and I want these books out there helping people. Do you know what I mean? Especially the Asexual Guide to Sex as well. It's been like since 2019 people have been waiting for that book, and people are like thinking, where the hell is it? She keeps saying she'll publish it, but I haven't actually done it yet. So I believe everything happens for a reason, in divine timing. It was always meant to be like this. But I think it's important that we do finish the things we say we're going to do, the promises we make to ourselves. We do push through and complete them, because then it helps us to trust ourselves more. It helps us to feel accomplished, and it helps us to tie things up in our life so that we can move on to other things in our life while still basking in the joy of that accomplished thing that's going to help a ton of people, right? So I always believe everything happens for a reason, the good and the bad. I believe moving from here will actually be a good thing, even though I'm very nervous in some ways about it and I get stressed about it. I'm trying to just calm. I'm like, take some time every day to look for properties, look as hard and as quick as you can, find out what you need to know, then have a cut-off point, do your writing, because your writing is what motivates you every day to keep being the asexual specialist you are, and that keeps you like connected to your audience, that helps other people, so I'm really proud of all the books I've written, particularly my asexual books. But obviously I've written Fibromyalgia Self-Help Handbook. That's a really good autobiographical personal development book. Really teaches you how to have less pain and more energy and feel happier in your life. Even if you don't have fibromyalgia, you can apply a lot of what I teach in this book to your everyday life. Teaches you how to reduce pain in 25 aspects of your life, which is really important for anyone without fibro. And then Diary Confessions of a Hyperromantic Asexual 78 Life Lessons to Ace Your Life was a bestseller this year. I published it in ebook format the day I split up with my ex. So even though I had heartache and heartbreak, I became a best-selling author that week and published that book. And Asexual Perspectives, 47 Asexual Stories, Love, Life and Sex, a Celebration of Asexual Diversity. Go and get copies of these on Amazon if you haven't already. So all these books, when I see this and I think, wow, what an accomplishment. Like, I interviewed 46 asexuals for this. I'm the 47th. This is an invaluable resource for asexuals. Every question you have about asexuality when you're first discovering it and you want to know more about it, every question is answered in this book, such as like, do asexuals masturbate? Do they watch porn? Do they like BDSM and kinks? What's the difference between sexual attraction, sexual desire, and arousal? What are the benefits of being asexual? What advice would you give to a younger version of yourself in regards to asexuality? All this is in this book and more. Do asexuals like marriage? Do they like kids? Do they like living together? Read it. It will help you a lot in your life. So yeah, I get motivated by helping others. And I think when you help others, it also helps yourself because you feel like purposeful in your life, you feel needed and wanted, and that you're meant to be in your life. You feel worthy, even more worthy when you help others, I think. So if you are stuck in your life, go out and volunteer, do some voluntary work, go and volunteer at a shop or volunteer to do something for charity. Do something that's bigger than yourself. Have something to work towards that helps others. Just make you feel so good. Makes you feel so good. Anyway, I hope you found this helpful and useful advice. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to share it with a friend if they're feeling stuck. Don't forget to just keep taking one step forward, one foot in front of the other. So sometimes it's just baby steps that can get the ball rolling to build more momentum to achieve more things in your life and come unstuck. And find a why. When your why is big enough for doing something, you'll automatically do it. If you don't have big enough reasons for doing things in your life, then you won't do it. Only when the gain of doing that thing is greater than the pain of doing it, will you push through your fears and make change happen and make it stick and become unstuck. Subscribe, hit the bell icon, give the video a thumbs up, like I said, share it with a friend. I'll see you soon in the next video live stream. Lots of love. Take care. Hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you. Bye. Stay ace. Thanks for being here.